Good evening and welcome back to Follow We Will Legends podcast this Thursday evening with myself, Lynsey Glenn and Stan Gordon. Stay tuned, get your questions in early and share our podcast around social media for us to support us, please. As always, we thank our amazing sponsors who are on board with our podcast. Please check out their social media pages and websites for information on supporting our like-minded people's businesses first and foremost. We have Milncroft Construction, Athol Solutions, AVA Signs, the Gallant Pioneer in Blackpool, the Bluebell Bar Tenerife, Tate Transport Solutions, DGG Freight Logistics, EK Blinds and Shutters, Ayrshire Tree Surgeons, Mac Network Services, Big Tam's Ices, Gartcraig Inn, Ernock Builders, Clearwater, Impact Signs, Cube Glass, Nith Valley Home Improvements and NCL Contractors. If you would like to be a sponsor of our podcast and appear on one of our next shows, please get in touch with Stan or myself.
How many sponsors you got?
Sure, I told you not to interrupt me before we started. Remember, if you're on YouTube, give us a like and subscribe to our show. Or if you're on any of our other social media platforms, remember to like, comment and share. Obviously, you know who we've got on the podcast tonight, so there's no point me even reading from the script.
That's incredible, by the way. A few good pubs in there and all.
We have Ian Martin from, the owner of Athol Solutions. Good evening, Ian. How are you doing?
Hi, Ian.
Thanks for inviting me back.
And the one and only Rangers legend, Mr. Derek Ferguson.
I'm used to having a Mr. Durant or a Mr. Miller on this side of me, so
I know
heard you're a better football player than
I'm
the two
a
of them.
better centre half.
Oh, I know. I'm not mentioning me, big fella. I know you're sitting down the still tower there. I better be careful tonight.
Fergie, good to see you back. We've not heard you on for a wee while. It's good to see you back. You and yourself, good to get you back on the show.
Thank you.
See, on that, Stan, when I just asked your good lady, when was the last time I was on? Was it at the start of the season? Had the season got underway?
I think it was.
Can you remember?
It wasn't.
I've got a
might have
memory
been.
of this.
I think it was.
Because it's been an incredible transformation.
It has been the
I
last
don't
time
know.
we spoke.
I'm trying to remember what I was saying the last time, which I can't even remember yesterday, but we're in a good place.
We need to look it back and then compare the two.
I know.
I think it was one of the first ones.
It was.
12, because we've only got one more today.
Aye.
And after this one, and then we'll start again. So we've only got. So I think you were away at the very start. So it was every 2 weeks, and then we missed ones with holidays and that. So you're talking about.
So that was under Bill.
It was.
It was, yeah. You've not been here for with the new manager.
We're in a better place now.
That's us. That's all that matters.
Ian, a wee quick one. You just mentioned there. I spoke to you this morning anyway, but you were in having a meeting with the manager. Was it Murray Park today?
Aye, so it was. We were in a business. Those Rangers have set up a business club. So there was me and some other companies were invited in, and there was a quick question and answer session with the manager, who, as always, spoke well, knows what he's doing. I was fortunate enough to go to Spain with the team as well, and he spoke well then as well. It was good seeing how in depth he is and what he does with the players and how he reacts to certain situations and stuff. It comes across really well, Stan.
That's great to hear, isn't it? Because that just that echoes everything. Everybody else that speaks to him speaks of him in the same.
Yeah,
way.
to be fair, I've not heard anybody saying anything wrong
He
against
handles
him.
everybody brilliant, the media, and he doesn't give you any bullshit. He's honest. He's up front. And that's what you want, a bit of honesty, straight to the point.
And I had a wee. I said to Fergie there, as you know, but he was on the what podcast was that you were on the day?
Oh, I'll tell you what, I did another one all about the jersey. It's not bad, that one, isn't it? Monday night, isn't it? I see it. Aye.
I can see you getting bad down here.
Aye.
Stan's looking for another sponsor.
Well, that's all about the jersey. That's what I'm talking about. That's twice I've got it in there, by the way. It's called Right on the Coupon. It's with a few of the guys, Gordon Dale and a few other
and
guys.
I was laughing because one of the, I can't mind whether it was DL or one of the other
He's a
boys.
great lad, Gordon.
One of the other boys had said, well, listen, he said, I remember, he says, when Michael Beale was there, he said he was a great coach. He said, the boy within Ibrox told me he was a great coach. And he says, how do you know he's a good coach? He says, because he tells me every day.
I know.
Aye, so I know.
And this was regarding the stuff that's come out on Twitter. You know,
I've not seen that.
Twitter account, obviously not under his name, that he was putting out stuff there. And what I was having the conversation about the day was when you go back a number of years ago when thankfully we won 55 under Gerrard, which was brilliant. Absolutely loved it. Thank you, Stephen Gerrard. But what we heard at the time was he was the brains behind it. He was a tactician. Now, was he putting that out? I don't know, you know. So listen, I'm, as you can tell, a wee bit disgruntled with the shape and the way we were.
We spoke about it on here. You were hearing in yourself.
And that's how I'm sitting here.
And
the turnaround is remarkable, and it's down to Clermont.
I think with Gio, personally, I think the players had down tools for him, maybe towards the end, and that became a problem. And they had the reaction where I think certain board members wanted him to go. And the fans, let's not kid ourselves, it was the fans and everybody wanted Beale in because he had that presence. And everybody wanted it to work.
But I think that's what Fergus touched on there.
Aye.
What you were saying there, I think he bummed himself up
Of course he did.
that much that everybody was on a hype to see it. I'll put my one up. When he was coming, I was excited about him coming.
But there's the difference, Stan, right? So see when you speak to this manager, this Clermont is not about himself as an individual. It's about his team. When I was fortunate enough to speak a couple of times to Michael Beale and we had question and answer sessions, he made the question and answer sessions all about himself. This manager doesn't do this. This manager speaks about how he's just getting the best out of the team.
Aye,
you know,
aye,
and what he's doing.
Ian, you couldn't have explained that any better. That's exactly, because that's what it felt like as well, because I was sold on it, the way Beale came across. But then when you listen to press conference after press conference, it seemed to be all about him, you know. And I says earlier the day as well, it's as if he invented football, you know, the way he used to speak.
Yeah.
But what we've got now is a guy, straight shooter, just tells you the way it is, honesty, respect for everybody.
And fans like that. Fans like that.
Well, anybody likes that. You like to be treated with respect.
And he looks scary, to be fair. He does look scary.
That's the presence.
He's got the fear factor out. That's it.
So when we were at the training camp, there was a situation in a game, right, where some of the players were complaining about an offside, and he said, stop. And he said, why do yous not understand that yous moaning and yous stopping? If that happens in a game, if that situation happens in a game, we're screwed. And he's like, why do yous not realise that? I don't want to see this. And he stopped the game and said, this is what's going to happen. This is the way I want it. And then, but this is the scenario. And then I was fortunate enough, I was speaking to him later that night, and he said, I went away and I watched the footage of what happened. And do you know it wasn't offside? He said, so if that was a game, we would have. So he's went away from the training, he's analysed what they were moaning at, and then he sat down and said to them, look, you would have been. I love that.
What a great insight. That is, you know, I didn't know that. And for you need to get him on more often.
There's one I spoke about. I spoke about him on here a couple of weeks ago, or a couple of shows ago. Was at one of the games where we sat in the main stand, and he played. You'll remember the match. He played Cantwell out wide. Cantwell's out wide, and he kept drifting in, which, because it's not his natural position, so he kept drifting in all the time, which I think you'll know better than us. We're playing a lot of football, that he drifted in, and because Clermont kept shouting to him, come back out and come back out, and he made a big mistake, and he turned around and says, I don't play out in the wing with a wee sweary word on it, right?
So,
but 2 minutes later,
the manager asked him to play instruction. He wasn't playing to instruction, but I can understand why Cantwell was drifting in, because it's natural in his game.
Exactly.
So he's learned, and he's learning under him.
But he had
and that's winning the respect.
But Derek had the strength to go like that off.
Yes.
Oh, but
no,
it's been clear to see, Stan.
That puts the bar down. That puts it down to all the players here.
Yep.
You're not going. You'll do what I say. But then he gave him his position back. So he's maybe looked and went, I agree with him. He can't play out there. But he should have just played what he was told to play on the night.
But what Ian's telling us there, that's a great insight. you know, and he's telling us exactly what happened, and you know, it could cost you at moments in a game if two guys having an argument. I think it's our side. No, play to the whistle.
And then
the thing about Cantwell though is what I noticed, Stan, was he still played him the following week. So although there was that, and then it was a case of you'll do what you're told again.
Exactly.
And if you don't do it,
you'll be off again.
And then I think he substituted him after 70 minutes.
That's
and
right.
I'll give you, for instance.
By the way, Ian, before you say that, and see when he did, he wrapped his arm
and to explain to him. Mm-hmm.
I'll give you, for instance, see the other week here, Derek, right? While we were away, he was concentrating on McCausland and Matondo cutting in, beating a player and shooting as soon as he got the ball. We played somebody at home the other week, I'd be a liar if I said who it was. And there was twice Matondo had tried to go round the outside, get to the byline and cut the ball back across. He then gets the ball, he beats two players, cuts inside and he scores a goal. And the manager, if you watch it again, just stood with his arms wide as if I told you.
Mm-hmm.
I told you. You know,
I was actually going to mention that next.
No, sorry.
I don't believe you.
I was sitting watching it, and it was as if he was going like that.
Yeah.
Can you not do that all the time? I've told
But
you. That's the way you do it.
That's a great example.
This is what it's all about.
You've seen that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You've seen that happening. You've seen that being coached, and then you see it happening again. Brilliant. Love that.
Yeah.
I'm definitely. But do you think yourself?
We've got loads to talk about, so I don't think we should go too much into it because we've got questions further on. With all that.
If anybody that's watching the show doesn't know Ian's a big avid program collector, I think you've got the full set, haven't you?
No, I need 3, but
only 3.
I would rather no comment on it because I know my wife will be listening.
And I know said that last time.
I know that Debbie's got me insured, so I'd rather no comment.
And he didn't want to say how much the 3 is he's going to buy.
How much the 3 are.
I've got a lot of programs.
We'll have a discussion. We'll have a discussion later on. Okay?
No, I'll give you a lot of them.
Right, okay, right. Everybody's watching this. I've got witnesses.
Problem.
Debbie, there's some space still left in the house hen. So.
And this is with my man, my dad, over the years had collected them. So these are going way back.
Fantastic.
So I've tried to get my boys interested in it. They're not having any of it. So listen, I'll dig them out and I'll pass them your way. No problem at all. Brilliant.
But you were telling us that you're talking about having a programme.
We're talking. We're in talks with the club to have possibly a programme fair within Edmondson House, and it's just to try and encourage a different the younger generation. That, by the way, there's memorabilia in that. Mm-hmm. As I said, there's the scenario I use is when I was a kid, I used to walk across to the Albion with Gaza and Sunis and Loudrop and stuff like that. The kids don't really have that now, and they've not really got the sort of memorabilia that we could get.
The autograph books and all that. And,
so we're in discussions with the club to try something different.
Good.
Maybe hold a wee programme.
Sounds brilliant. It does. I hope it goes well. I hope they get the
the
approval and it works out. Right, come to you, Derek. We're reading that Lewis is doing very well in Italy at the moment. He's the captain.
I was there for a week.
And he's scoring
last week
regularly from midfield.
It's not just about the goals.
Right.
He's performing at the moment at a very high level.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if he's now captain of the side. Even when the club captain is in the starting 11, Lewis is still captain. But I actually saw a difference in him this week, not on the park, but off the park. Because as a dad, I think it's my right to have a go, not just at him, but certain players. Well, he wasn't having it.
No.
Right. And what I noticed, he was so protective of his players, which I didn't tell him. And I don't know if he'll be watching it. He probably will later on. But I love that he's protective of his own boys. Because a couple of the boys, wide players, I'll not name them because I don't want to upset them. I thought they could have contributed a wee bit more. But anyway, that's just a bit of him maturing that. But listen, he loves it earlier. It's clear to see he's playing under a manager who is absolutely top drawer. The style of football. But the work he does with the players, and it's a wee bit like Clermont. It's not just on the on the playing surface, it's away for it. You know, as people, he speaks the language. Get this one. I'm coming home Monday night. He's took us out for a wee bite to eat. I never paid for it because it was a rather expensive restaurant, by the way. I got a fright when I saw the prices, my God. So he usually plays this mad music. Anyway, obviously you're a singer. He starts singing away, and I'm like, that's no Italian, because I kind of know a wee bit of Italian listening to him when he's talking and all that. He was singing in Spanish.
Oh, yeah.
I'm going like, what the fuck's going on here, by the way? I says, how do you know that? How do you know it's... He says, I just hear it there. And I've learned it and I've sung it.
My God.
So what you're telling
A
us
Scottish, Italian-speaking Scottish singer. My boy isn't that, but listen, he's in a good... He loves everything about it. It's a fantastic city, Bologna. The viewers out there are you guys. If you've not been, go. Even for a city break, the food is tremendous. So as the history over there, it's a great place. He loves it.
That was my next question to you, Derek. Is it something that you wish you had maybe pursued in your career?
Yep, there was. I think it was me and Big Nicky Walker, when we were at Rangers. I think there was interest for Seville in Spain. I think I was 20, 21 at that time. I wasn't mature enough, man.
Just different.
I'm still not mature enough. You know what I mean? I feel like Lewis is my dad, to be honest with you. That's what it feels like at the time. No, I'd have loved to have played in that style of football because what I witnessed during the game, I watched the Lecce, the Fiorentina game. I'd love to play. It was my type of football, on the deck, passing.
Aye, that's what I'm looking for. Is it something that you would have loved to have
aye.
done?
But there's still a physicality to that.
You like that anyway, a wee
of
bit.
course, I like to put the fit in a wee bit, but it's that the pass and the movement, the touch, the way to pass. I love that, everything about it. So to answer your question, Lynsey, I'd have loved to have played abroad. And the more that I'm over there and I watch the games, I'd have loved to have been involved in that. It's class. Because I come home and I was working at the Livingston St Mirren game on Saturday, and see, after 20 minutes, it was like watching a different sport. Because it was more, the boys weren't keeping possession of the ball. We think your game's quicker. It isn't. It's that we give away possession far too much. That's how there's always there's a turnover in terms of possession to the opposition. See, they're in Italy, and if you watch a lot of Spanish games, they keep the ball for fun, but it's hard work. Because I've asked Lewis, I've picked his brains about it. He says he does more running. He says he finds it harder. It's just it's like an illusion here. We think it's 100 miles an hour. No, it's because we don't keep possession of the ball, and they keep possession of the ball. But to keep the ball, they work their socks off. So do they. So I'd love to have been involved in that time.
What about the hype? I suppose it's came here, so I suppose in Italy it'll be the same about Juventus and there are 2 or 3 teams in from a big money.
What happens there, Stan, in Bologna will have a relationship with some of the other clubs, some of the, if you want to call them, the top 6. So there is interest there. Well, and also with Mota as well, you know, because he's doing so well. See, Bologna are normally, you would class them as a mid-table team, you know, so where they are, they're now challenging for European spots is kind of a wee bit kind of unheard of.
Like them.
Aye, so they're playing really well. And what they've got is a group of young guys that are hungry. They've got good ability and they've been coached really well. So yeah, the interest is real, but there's interest in 1 or 2 of the other players as well. So, but what I get the feeling I get for Lewis, that he wants to stay in Italy. He's got no interest in going anywhere else over the next 2-3 years. He's contracted there for another 4 years anyway, because they added his contract at the start of the season. He never went asking. It was them, and that's the relationship they've got. They're a fantastic club, Bologna. So
you appreciate them.
Aye, and you know, I think I've turned into a Bologna supporter as well.
Yeah.
That's only natural, because you're a proud dad as well.
He wasn't an Aberdeen fan. I just wanted
I was tough for me. I've already spoken about it. That was very tough for me but listen, and that's the other side of it as well. Lewis has still got teammates that are playing, and again, he doesn't like me maybe having a go. I could see that Bologna Billy Boys. Isn't it? Bologna troop. I don't know. I'll start but no, he's in a good place. And is this the right phrase? I'm enjoying the ride. I'm enjoying the journey, I should say.
Oh, you
That
better
didn't
believe
sound-
it.
Good.
Brilliant.
I know you sound it. You can tell it's coming
Oh,
across that you're
fantastic.
buzzing, absolutely buzzing.
Aye, I'm so happy. When you see your boys happy, I'm happy.
Good.
I've got some questions up there if you want to.
I know. I'm getting my sight's getting worse. I can't see them.
Right, go to the first one up the top there. I've got Kenny Barnstable. I think we've landed the top class manager, getting the best out of the players, and it looks like a happy dressing room. Likes that he gets what the club's all about. Well, we agree with
Yeah,
that.
we've already said.
Ian's covered that, isn't he?
Yep.
Covered it
Aye.
absolutely brilliant. A wee bit of insight into it as well.
Good
which-
evening,
which is
troops.
magic.
Hope you are all well. Ian, I know you've been in many places. What's your best memory that comes to mind following the Bears? Well, that'd be a hard one.
Leipzig takes some beating.
Aye, that was great.
I think years ago, back in, I touched on it last time, 92, 93, Marseille at home, where we had played them in a pre-season game and they tore us apart. Absolutely tore us apart. And I remember saying to my dad at the time,
The weather was terrible, was it?
yeah, I remember saying to my dad at the time, if we get this mob in Europe, we're in trouble. And I think we were 2-0 up, going on 10-0.
Right.
Aye.
And then Giananti moved back into midfield, Gary Spiggin came on, and the rest was history if the game had went on another 5 minutes. So I think that then, but to be fair, since 2012, we've got different emotions now, haven't we?
Aye.
I mean, the UEFA Cup final was frightening when Aribo scored, and you're thinking maybe, but aye.
See what you're talking about there. I think we mentioned that before. Seville in the final. I don't think the Rangers fans could have lasted one in the cup. They were that.
The heat was unreal.
Dehydrated.
It was unreal, the heat, wasn't
The
it?
heat was unreal.
Ah, well,
The heat was
you're in your
unreal.
bed.
I know, but you have got to remember.
I was
yous
out there
are
for a
in
week
Ginger.
before it. So I had the time of my life. And it's again that the journey. And by the way, listen, it's getting made tomorrow at 11 o'clock. The draw. I don't know. There's a few of the games. Rennie were up 1-0 against Milan the night. So I want the big boys. Everybody's talking about.
Oh, the next round.
No, but they're saying we don't want to
this one.
draw Roma, Milan. Who else is in there?
Yeah, but there are chances you'll eventually get them anyway. Do you know what I mean? Get
Aye,
get
but-
into the quarterfinals because in the
Can
quarterfinals,
you see us in Dublin then? Aye.
Well,
You
you
get a
know the
feeling?
song, don't you? If we go to Dublin, we'll
Well,
follow
I'll tell
on.
you, I was there the last time when we played Bohemians,
Oof.
and nobody flew in the days. I think that must have been 1980.
84.
Was it? I don't know. It wasn't 84.
No, it was 84.
Was it as late as
Aye,
that?
it was 84.
God, I was
Are you
only
sure?
one.
Aye, positive. It
But
was
it's-
84.
And what they done is they busted us all for Northern Ireland down to the game. And after the match, we all get the buses, and there were a big trailways all heading back to Northern Ireland. And every Rangers supporters bus one day gets smashed.
Aye.
Everyone. You couldn't get out or getting through all the wee villages in Southern Ireland. They were just coming out and bolts.
That was just the Polish.
See what I remember about that, by the way, with the pole. I thought I was only 17 or something, a wee bit older, but I remember that the Polish attacked the Rangers fans with all the buttons and the screens, and then they retreated, and the Rangers fans with all the buttons and the screens. True, honestly. Just the up the street with the buttons. Polish are on it. But they were terrible ways, by the way.
mad.
It was shocking, wasn't it? It was the way they were dropping slabs off the top of the stone and top of the Rangers fans. No, it's
Aye, but it'll
horrible.
be good this time, Ron.
Aye, we'll be able to fly her back. That's totally different.
Ian, your wee granddaughter, Caitlin Rogan, hiya Granda, loving the show.
No, it's mine.
Oh, is it yours? Is it yours?
Aye, see
Oh, I thought it was
This is
Ian's.
something I don't know.
Is that you? Are you sitting there typing that now?
You don't look old enough to be a granddad.
What's
By the way, she's sitting over there.
What's Stevie McPherson's man there?
That's mum. It's the missus. Aye. Because you've said they'll give you programmes, the missus is on.
I tell you, I can't read.
This
What's
is what
Stevie
I'm going
McPherson's
Tell
there?
it next
It's
one.
Stevie McPherson.
Let's see that one.
Tell Stan.
No, Stan, tell Ian.
Aye.
Oh, we're getting the words backwards today. Right, Thomas Martin, what's he saying? Stan and I was going to mention the arms around players getting subbed. Great show tonight. Ian's brilliant, and I hope Fergie keeps the nut. You lost it the day.
Aye. What's wrong with that? You don't see me away when the camera's knowing me. Then I'm really
I've
gaffing
heard
up.
stories about you with TVs flying out of windows.
Oh, I know.
There's Alan, what's that, Alan McGilvery there?
Alan.
Cracking podcast, and then we've got Alan Park underneath.
Good boy.
Apart from Clarkson Rangers supporters bus, only bus to get windows smashed.
Not to get the windows smashed.
Well, I never seen any surviving. And then we'll get Willie Black. Stan, ask Barry's brother when he's coming in for a fight.
Well, how's that?
Oh, that's right. You always use that in your
I
your
saw
talk.
that man hobble out of my motor and then sprint 10 yards to 20 yards out of your pub to get a pint. Wee Willie Black, what a man. Isn't he?
Aye.
He's some boy.
So, back into football again. Well, we had a hard game against Aberdeen. And I know that they play other teams. We've spoken about this before, but they always come up trumps against us, and we're going to beat them at Ibrox. But it was a hard game, and I think that shows the kind of depth and strength that we've got now and the wee bit of steel we've got. Because I don't think under Beale we'd have get the points.
It's a belief as well. He's installed that, the belief as well. He's worked, not just collectively. Ian's got that wee bit of insight. He's worked with them individually. He respects them as people, not just as football players. And he knows what that game entails, the Aberdeen game. He knows there's a hatred there. Because as well, he took his time to pick his backroom staff. Great to see Alec in the backroom staff as well. Love that. So, and he's picked the brains at, obviously, Tav, as soon as he went in there. Just to find out wee things. He takes time. It's in fine details, and he knew what that game means. And he knows they raise their game. So, he's on the ball with everything.
How do you think that? I mean, I've followed Rangers all my days, right? But how did this hatred start? A lot of people
Alec
say
Ferguson. It started a way back with Alec Ferguson.
I think so. A lot of people
when he
say
was
he's
coming down to Glasgow,
so.
and it started off with Rangers and Celtic, going down to Glasgow, you get nothing. So he was creating that hatred, that dislike for each other. But then it went to another level. What happened with Ian Vigilante?
I think you'll actually find there was a guy, a midfielder for Rangers, and he broke away through, and he's ran away and he scored the goal against Aberdeen, number 9, when he's back, and then started getting it the biggin. I think that's how it started, Derek.
Not at all. But no, listen, I loved going up there and beating them. I loved beating them, but I think it came for the days with Alec Ferguson. I think it kicked off with him.
Because I've never been able to put my...
If you remember rightly, Alec Ferguson had done an interview, and I think Aberdeen had just won a cup final. Mm-hmm. And he said that I'm not accepting that.
That's right.
He said it's disgusting. I'm not accepting that. So he was trying to instill in them, when they come to Glasgow,
they don't just beat them,
they're the better team. And he had great success up there.
So that's what I'm saying. That's where I think it started, but it grew arms and legs after that horrendous injury to Vigilante.
No, and it did. And I felt sorry for him. He was at Ibrox here about 2 or 3 months ago, and they asked him to do the sweets, and he done all the sweets.
Who's this you're talking about?
Vigilante. They were playing Aberdeen, and he was meant to be doing the half-time draw.
Right.
And Rangers said, no, we don't want you to do it in case you upset the Aberdeen fans.
So that's bollocks.
Disgusting.
If he's in there and he's working in the lounges and he's didn't do the half-time draw.
No, I know.
So
it was a wee bit.
You're at home in front of your own fans.
No, I know. And you used to...
I think that's bollocks.
You used to go... You're not there yourself, and Lewis was there, and you got a hard time yourself, didn't you?
Not so much me. No, but what I did when I was up there, I witnessed, when Rangers came calling, there was a change in the atmosphere. It was clear to see, because I was there when Celtic were playing, I was there when Hibs, Hearts, but when Rangers were there, the atmosphere was different, and that was in every department, all that ground. People might go, away you go, you're talking. I'm just being honest and upfront. That's what I experienced, and so there is a dislike. Of course there is. We know that, but you're telling me Durante wasn't allowed to go and do the half-time draw? I think that's ridiculous.
They didn't want to cause any...
What are they going to cause? But
I know, but it just shows you the hatred to say that. I don't... You're saying about... I remember one of the Aberdeen fans running on the park.
If Durante didn't want to
when Andy Cameron was speaking...
I could see that. Mm-hmm. But,
you know what I mean? And the Aberdeen fan ran out to punch, and I wish he did, right enough, but he never missed him. But no, but it can somebody can, and safety wise or not, and that, I wasn't getting anybody there. What I was saying is how volatile it can be that a Rangers hero, you're kind of worried that something can happen to him.
Aye.
And the wee man never done anything wrong. The tackle was on him.
But in fairness, it's not the same as what it was when we used to go up there in the 80s. You used to go up there in the 80s and you were expecting trouble. You were expecting, when we used to have the beach end and you used to have to go that hill where the graveyard was.
100%.
I mean, you used to,
100%,
I mean, I've been lucky enough the last 3 games I've been in the director's box up at Pittodrie, and there is a level of hatred, but no the hatred. I mean, I think it was Ryan Jack get injured up there. And the level of abuse as he was getting taken out in the stretcher was bad.
Aye.
It was bad. It was.
But we're talking about the fans.
Yeah.
But the respect will be there. You're talking about directors and the players. To a certain extent, players, of course, have got that respect for each other. But they feel that. You feel the fans when you're on the park.
Yeah, I mean,
you do. It's natural.
You spoke about Ryan Jack.
Flowing.
Right, Ryan Jack. Ryan Jack's never been accepted since he came to Rangers either. The abuse he gets.
Yeah.
When he came from Aberdeen to Rangers, they've never forgiven him. They boo him in Scotland games.
Incredible when you think like Derek Ferguson was a Rangers player, was a top manager for Aberdeen. Derek McInnes, Rangers player, was a top manager for Aberdeen.
Yeah.
You think about that. You know, so there's...
And I don't think the new manager they've got in there now has helped himself saying he loves Rangers either.
I thought that was brilliant.
Brilliant.
The noon Rangers supporter, imagine saying it. The Aberdeen fans must have been steam coming out their ears, wasn't it? That was class. He comes out with a few crackers, didn't he?
But I used to see him regular in the member suite a couple of seasons back. See, we're in the bottom divisions. He was there every week.
And the thing is,
that's no work.
He was pally with Charles Green, believe it or not.
Is that who it was then? Aye, because
he used to Sheffield.
you know, Pally with Coisty as well.
and
then you've been on Talk Sport. You know, and it kind of even comes across the airways. You know, he's a Rangers supporter. So you get a Rangers supporter in charge of Aberdeen. It's mad, isn't it?
What else should we go there?
Right, wait a minute. Going back to the football, I've got a question, Derek, for you. Right. So, being a central midfielder yourself, Derek, right? Do you feel that that's a strong area of the park right now for Rangers? Do you think we've got the right balance in the middle?
Absolutely. You're talking about Ryan Jack. Obviously, he's been in and out with injury.
I was going to say, obviously, we've got everybody fit.
Raskin as well. It's been up and down this season, but that's down to injury as well. Lundstrom has been sensational.
He has.
This season, he looks fitter under Clement. Looks a different player. Absolutely. We've got Lawrence, who's I think's a top player. Injury free. Cantwell, love Cantwell, you know, and we can criticise him at certain times about certain things, but again, he's a flair player, but he gives his all. Can't ask for any more than that. You've got McCausland's come in there, and I know he's not a central midfield player, but he helps out in that role. We've got a whole boss. Who have I missed out?
What about Sterling?
Sterling, by the way, and the power. Sometimes you need that, and it was a great substitution, wasn't it, against St Johnstone?
Fantastic.
Part wasn't great. It was a game for a bit of rough and tumble, maybe a wee bit more physicality. You know, so an athlete that a power could cover the ground, and it was a perfect substitution. Wasn't it?
Yeah. I love him. I think he's going to be a cracker for us.
Yeah, we need to sign him. We need to keep him back.
What we spoke about half an hour ago there, about positions here. I think if they tell Sterling he was in goals, he'd get in goals.
Yeah, he would.
Who would you have as your cam position?
Is my
cam position?
What do you mean cam?
Central attacking midfielder.
Central attack.
I've been doing I've been doing my training, right? I've been getting my coaching, right? Because obviously I've been telling the guy I work with do a football podcast and that. So he sits with me and he goes through he's been going through all the stuff with me, right? And explaining some things to me and
Lynsey,
that. You know Tony Smith?
But he's a great guy.
Right, so Tony's saying, ask Derek
Cam
who you would have as Cam. Aye.
They have all these words like scanning and all that. And
you know what else he told me to put in?
Give me peace.
He told me to put in to link up the play up with the strikers and play in between the lines. There you go. See?
Cantwell, well, we've got a few players that can play.
I'm learning.
In positions, innit? Lawrence can do that. Cantwell can do that ever so well. We've got arguably Silva could drop into a deeper area. I know he's wanting to play him as a 9, but we've got loads of options. But what I love about Clement is he doesn't pigeonhole the players and say that's your position. He wants the midfielders to play different positions. That's how we've got Diamondi in there.
Aye.
What a goal! But he
Screamer, absolute
but
screamer.
he looks a player that can play. He could maybe go and sit and play in a holding role. He could play maybe in the middle of the park and be that destroyer as well. But he also looks like a guy that can run beyond and he's box to box. So don't give me any more of your camp part.
I'm trying to see if I've got a few other things here that I could pull out the bag.
Well, but we like to see if we get any.
I'm getting coached.
I'm flustered now. You're into the coaching.
I see. He's coaching me.
He's a great lad, Tony.
Yes, he's brilliant.
Guy.
See if we've got any more questions here.
Right, let's go.
Where are we? It was after full one.
Can you ask Derek if one day his boy Lewis will ever sign for Rangers or has that ship sailed?
It's certainly not sailed, of course, but then the timing's got to be right. It's got to be right for Rangers, it's got to be right for Lewis. I don't see it for the next good number of years, but I know it's a dream of Lewis. Just like my other boys, just like my brother, we're all Rangers daft. We all want to play for the jersey. I was going to say all about the jersey. I've got that podcast stuck in my head, by the way.
But Campbell, you there.
No, but listen, that would be he would love that. It'd be a dream for him. Of course it would. You know, listen, see when the move for Aberdeen, you know, he was hoping there was going to be a wee bit of interest. There was no interest whatsoever. There was a wee tentative bit of interest for Celtic. Geez, do you know what I mean? So, but so it's all worked out well. But hopefully someday they can
bring it together and
I was going to say marry each other. Is that right? That's maybe.
I think there's two things at play here. The first thing is we can't afford them now.
Aye.
Right? And the second thing was I believe that when we had went down to the lower leagues, I think the club had took a stance that we weren't giving any Scottish clubs any money.
Yeah.
And I think you know, I think with the exception of Wright, we've not gave, and I think we even might have swapped him for McCrory. We've not gave any Scottish clubs any money. I think there is a stance that when if you look at it, there is some Scottish players. We touched on it, and I know, but there is some Scottish players out there that should be good enough to play for Rangers. When we're in
the one that for me, Doig as well. I think I've watched him. He's moved to Sassuolo. Now, he played against Lewis a couple of weeks ago, and he was one of their best players. Real good player, good athlete.
I liked him at Hibs. I liked him.
Good player.
Aye, good
but
player.
But you need to get him on more
well,
often.
it's like,
right, Ricky, we need to
make too much sense.
It's like with the Champions League. So when we're in the Champions League next year, you need 8 places. So I think that some of the younger boys, I go to all the B games. So I was at the Carlisle game on Monday. Raskin was playing then, and I think that if some of these younger boys leave for the European coefficient, or no coefficient, but you know, I think you've got to have a quota. I think it's 8.
I think there's Goldson and guys like Tavernier all qualify because they've been with the club X amount of time.
Don't know is the honest answer.
But it's a great point because Walter used to do that quite a lot.
Yeah,
you would go and get 1 or 2, you know, and you thought we've no tended to go down that route, and it's a good point you brought up there.
As I said, when I always remember Walter turning around and saying that he never signed Lee McCulloch and Christian Daly because they were silky football players. They were 6 foot, they would kick their granny and they knew how to pass a ball. You know, but we don't seem to be. We're losing this identity, and in the Champions League, Lewis is a prime example. Everyone is. You know, and hindsight's a great thing, but we should have signed Lewis. We should have signed Lewis.
No,
I think so.
We've got Campbell Yule there. The day Durante get done was the most toxic atmosphere I've ever been in Scotland. I agree with that, definitely.
Ricky, see the next time that we've got Ian and Derek on, we'll book the studio for 2 hours, right?
I think we've got a few there with Durante there, you know, what we're talking about there right enough, haven't we?
There was a time where the wee man didn't want to talk about it, and I
Oh,
can
the
see
boy.
why. But it seems to be, I don't know. I mean, you were with him last week. For me, but I was with him a couple of weeks ago. He's in a good, he's in a right good place at the minute, which is good to see. Obviously, he's had the op with his knee, so which I love to see.
He's looking well.
Because he disappeared, didn't he? Want to know me for about 6 months, but it's lovely to be in his company.
He was across in Spain, and so was Barry. And it was interesting to hear Ian saying about how he looked after Barry as a younger player.
Oh, he did.
He said that I was put in the reserves. There was potential of Barry going to England. He said, but I was told, you go and look after him because he's the future of Rangers. And look, we all know how that turned out.
The reason I was going to jump in there is because I get shown something from my boy before I come out. It was one of the journalists saying about Tav getting into Five Guys. Now, the
and saying he was their captain.
Because he went in there.
I know.
By the way, poor Barry loves a sausage supper, by the way, as you well know.
And a McDonald's.
But there's a point to this. There is a point to this because they're just boys. They play the game, and sometimes that's not the worst thing in the world because after a game, sometimes they'll have pizza and chips in the dressing room. So what's wrong with getting in and getting a burger after you've played a game?
I used to come back for gigs with Barry and Lee, and they always went to McDonald's. They go to McDonald's.
So there you go.
And it was 2 cheeseburgers.
And it's just to put that out there. But the thing that done me in is obviously Barry wouldn't share the sausage supper with me. That was it. The greedy bastard.
Well, you'll remember Alberts and Paul Gascoigne used to smoke about 40 fags after a game.
The Wigan still does.
I just thought, with the journalists bringing up, I thought it was poor. I thought it was just pretty.
It is poor. It is anything to have a dig, honestly.
There's one there watching from East Belfast, seen Bomber and Durant last weekend, a great show.
Yeah.
But no, it helped that Saturday there. Our gig on Saturday was in Sandy Row Rangers. And 5 minutes before we went up onto the stage to do our gig, Kilmarnock scored and the full place erupted. So I said to the two of them,
you can't go
right here.
Give them half an hour.
What the two of them say, the show's going to be brilliant. And then when we went to Lisbon the next day, we watched the Rangers game first, then Rangers go tap and league, and I went, happy days. But see what you were talking about there, with wee Durante there. I think Bomber said to me at the weekend there, and wee Durante was talking about, he said he was talking about Ross McCausland, and he was when he was doing his scouting, he had went to Murray Park, and the boys were playing, and he seen him. He said he scored a good goal, and he was playing. And Bomber pulled him at the side and says, "Look, you need to do that. You need to do that. You're going to be a good junior, and you look good. Just compose yourself." And he gave him a few tips, and I don't know if you noticed, it was in one of the papers the other day there. The press had get the story, and see for guys like yourself giving young boys a bit of advice. Brilliant.
I know, but you've got to remember, right? And this annoys me a wee bit. John was a fantastic reserve coach. John wrote through. Your Alan
Chrissy Buck, Alan Hutton.
Big John Brown, man. Don't mess with him.
But he did. He brought through, and it's
quite scared shit, by the way.
But that's you can't get away with that now. Yeah. And the problem was his attitude was: see if you're no close to the first team by the time you're 20, away you go, son. Because what's the point?
But the other side, I will make a point. There is a softer side to Bomber. There is, you know that anyway as well.
Brilliant. But you were talking about when they took the boys. I mean, there were one of the games. Mind the boy Dan Hagen. That played with
David.
Dan Egan.
Dan Egan.
Was he Norwegian or something? Dan Egan. Is it Egan? Dan Egan.
I was at the club with David. I love David Hagen.
So
he was a great guy.
He passed away,
too early, far too early.
I was at the funeral with you.
I know.
But is it Dan Egan? Dan Egan. Was he Norwegian or something?
Yeah.
Anyway, Bomber's coaching. Boba's coaching the reserves, right? This is true. So the Egan's get put in to play with the reserves. So he's playing centre half. The boy, the other team get a corner and they crossed the ball in, and Dan Egan went out to header the ball and he missed it completely, right? And Bomber shouted on the park. I don't know whether he meant it. And he goes, "You were a bit desperate there, Dan." And the full-back are rolling about laughing, right? And he's Norwegian. He doesn't know, right?
Well, you heard the other one in the championship, didn't you? Last Friday night about the the boy having dick in his mouth?
No.
About what?
Aye, it was a boy Dick, plays with Raith Rovers, and the boy had caught him with his foot, and the commentator, who's maybe not very well liked by a lot of Rangers supporters, he went like, oh, he's just a dick in his mouth. Sorry.
Oh my God.
Apologies, but it was on Twitter, not my boy showed us it. So, but I was watching the game. As soon as I heard that, I watched every game. And I just turned around and I looked at him and went, oh, I can't believe
You said that. That's going to be out there, aye. What's Stuart Crabby put? I can see his name. Stuart Crab.
Well done, you, Lynsey.
Doing
Your homework, top class for the girls.
That's it. Well done.
Well, see, just
Yes.
on doing my homework then, Derek, what do you feel about the rotation of the players that Clermont's using now?
It's brilliant. It's I'm that used to, you know, if you've got a winning formula, a winning side, you are inclined to stick with that.
Aye.
But he makes 2-3 changes.
Because when,
even
but when you played, it was the best 11 on the park.
of course, and that's the way.
Now
but
it's...
But see, when he brings the players in, it's just seamless. And I think it's
Nothing
because,
changes.
Aye.
it's because they understand him
Mhm.
and he understands them, and he gets his instructions across. You touched on it earlier. That's why Cantwell was took off the park. No for badness. It's just because clearly it wasn't working for Cantwell, wasn't working for the team. So the best option is take him out here. But that
the squad
rotation
rotation is
brilliant.
good.
And,
Aye.
I love that he always, and you touched on it, he always talks about the players, the squad. It's not about the starting 11.
It's
them
the
as a group.
squad.
And that's where I'll go back to. Sorry, I'm going away for this with the Bologna, because that's what they're like. There's loads of changes, but see the togetherness. The Bologna boys are young, and that's what we've got.
It feels like there's a togetherness
That's
within the team.
and it's
now.
a magic feeling.
Aye,
When you
it
go there.
is, definitely.
Yours were the same. Even now, if I like say the weekend we're in Belfast there, and if I found me you or Dukey or any of them, and you do a Q&A, and then anybody in the crowd says, I didn't like him, he wasn't a good player, there's no one of them would turn and say, I agree with you. Say, no, he was a great player. He wouldn't bring any other of that.
I get into trouble for that. I'm trying to think who it was a few weeks back, because somebody would go, oh, what about him? Back in my day when I was playing, and I'd always go, he was a cracking player. And what about him? I says, I liked him, he was really good. And the guy went like to me, was there no bad players back in that day? But I don't know, maybe you do become a wee bit more, I don't know.
You protect. Aye, and I think that squad there and now is the same. I don't think they would let anybody.
No, but it's the same. If you look at the last couple of weeks, McCausland has been getting it tight, right? And as I tried to explain, so there was a guy sitting next to me, and he's shouting, why is he not getting to the byline and crossing the ball? And I'm like, well, he's left-footed. I said, he's not going to get to the byline and cross it with his right. I said, and second of all, he's been told to cut in. Now, if you're trying to cut in and they've got 11 men behind the ball, it's not the easiest thing to do. Now, the manager plays him week in, week out, because he's doing what he's told. The manager's telling him, that's the way I want you to play. And see, as long as he plays like that and we're winning and he's getting goals, that's why the manager's going, you'll do for me.
Spot on.
I mean, getting back to what we were saying there, I can mind Colin Steen saying to us years ago, Jim Denny. Mind Jim Denny?
Aye.
I don't think, was he still there when you came? No, away. Jim Denny against Celtic at Ibrox. He says, go and get warmed up. And Jim Denny ran down to the Celtic end and get warmed up. And Big Joke went off his nut. What you doing? What are you not getting warmed up down there for? He says, I get less stick off his Celtic. I get less stick off his Celtic fans. When do you say that?
That's mad, isn't it?
We've got a wee update here, right? Greg Morrison has put, right, what's he saying, Stan?
AC Milan, Benfica through to tomorrow's draw. Qarabag and Barga and Friedberg and Lens both into extra time. Now, looking at that, Ian, the only one I don't want is that Qarabag. It's 8-hour flight to Azerbaijan.
How do you
pronounce
that? Say that again.
I tried to say that quick, so you went.
Qarabag.
But I hope we don't get him because it's too far, and I don't think you've got a beer there. So you don't drink anyway. You'll not be bothered.
See, to be fair, I'm one of the sad ones, so you know yourself, I go everywhere. Something like that excites me. I mean, see going to UEFA, I mean, we had to travel to Glasgow, Czech Republic, St. Petersburg, and then UEFA. it's all about experience, isn't it? It's
Aye.
all about the experience.
He's just
I
worried
like
about his
that.
beer.
He's just worried
No,
about
I like that,
Listen,
Ian.
they'll have it in the corporate flight. What are you moaning about?
Big Andy allows it. He's off. He's about.
No, but so listen, they're all toughies, but I don't fear anybody. I'm maybe being a wee bit biased. That's how I'm talking about the Italian teams, because it gives me the excuse.
A couple of Italian teams we can get there.
To
Eh?
do it. Aye, well, there's Roma, Milan,
You've got Roma,
as well.
right, aye.
So I would
Shakhtar
say,
Donetsk
which
in
is-
Hamburg.
Aye, and they're-
Aye, that's right.
And then you've also got a couple of French mob there, and you've got Marseille and
Germany would be
is
a
it
good one.
Lens? I think Toulouse.
I've been to Marseille's stadium in the
Ah,
last
so that.
year, and it's since they've done it. I was there a few years ago. One of my friends took me. Outstanding,
Is it?
beautiful,
Aye.
brilliant.
The nice thing is the weather's getting better and all.
That's it.
That's it,
Aye.
yeah. Oh, when we went to
Did they take you, Lindsay? Did the guys invite you?
No.
Shocking.
they're
just blind you right away.
Aye.
They're just like,
What was the name of that podcast again?
I'm not even going down that road. Not even going down that road.
Moving on.
But when we went to Seville, where that was what long ago was that? It was a bit before Christmas, maybe the beginning of December when we played Real Betis.
It was a week
See
before
through
Christmas.
the day, you could sit with
Aye.
t-shirt on the shorts through the day.
I was in t-shirt last week. Whereby
Wow.
I know the
Brilliant.
locals were looking at me as if I was a dafty.
Well, that,
They're all wrapped up. I found it quite warm. I was walking down the street and they're like, "Have you seen it?"
well, what was the same? I was sitting outside having a beer, and you could see people all walking by and see anybody went by with shorts. He goes, "They're Rangers fans." Rangers
Well,
fans.
you can tell.
All the Italians have got jackets on and
Aye.
jeans.
we see in Spain when we went to that training camp. I'm telling you, every one of us was a
Baltic.
jumper on. I
heard
had
that.
took the speedos. That's not a pleasant sight. I took the speedos and all. I was wearing jumpers and honestly, it was cold.
Aye, I heard
Oh,
that.
was
I
it?
heard
Oh, it
that.
was
Aye,
cold.
aye.
You don't wear speedos when it's cold.
Yeah, it was cold.
It starts to
It was cold.
retract.
Oh,
It's
no.
not a good look at it.
It was
You want it a bit warmer.
I've never experienced a European trip.
Yeah,
Never. No. David would never take me.
You've started.
No,
Get the
wait till I
masses
tell
and
you.
now I've got Lindsay.
My David would never take me. He said it's not for women. And then when I watch the telly,
Oh, no, you can't say that.
there's
You
more
can't.
women
Oh,
now than there
brilliant.
is men.
Oh,
It's great.
listen,
Brilliant.
see a wee thing. I love women.
I need to get a better job.
No, let me.
All right, Carol. You enjoying the show, Carol? You all right?
But because I've got two granddaughters, and I had wee Isla at the games as
Aye.
well, and I had wee Lake, who's 15 months. They love it.
Aye.
They love the football, so it's for everyone. There you go.
Yes. Oh, honestly, I've never experienced
Coach.
it. Never
Right,
experienced it.
listen, we're running out of time here, so we'll go to Saturday. It's a big game.
Big game.
Hearts. What's your thoughts?
The last game we beat them with a last minute penalty.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to sit. Shanklin held the ball up well the last game. It's every game's going to be a cup final for now to the end of the season. If we can win it, we know that we put pressure on them for the Sunday. If we go 5 points clear, we see what they're made of for a wee change. But it's not going to be easy. Hearts are going to.
Ian, I hope they don't sit in because they're comfortably in third place. Now, is that not a good test for Hearts to come to Ibrox and see what they're all about?
I
And
don't
if
think
do
they
that-
sat in
if
the
they
last
do that,
time.
I think it'll suit us better, to come at us a wee bit more than.
That's how we do so well in Europe.
Mhm.
To see teams
Teams
coming
that
at
come,
us,
aye.
that's when we
I'm
get
hoping
some
that's
joy.
going to be the scenario.
But they got the goal the last time with Shanklin into the back post. Wee boy Ridvan wasn't a bit tall enough, and he picked him out the back post and they put the ball into the corner.
Mhm.
So they went a goal up, so they didn't need to push forward
But
after
the
that.
thing is-
We had to break them
Aye.
down.
Stan,
But if we get an early goal with them,
Aye.
they've got to open
but
up
we're in
where
a
it
different
suits
place
us.
Aye.
from where we were then.
I
That's-
agree with you.
We're a better we're better individually, we're better collectively. You can see that the work that's been done with the manager.
The confidence is there as well, don't I?
I'm not really that confident. Sometimes, I'm a wee bit kind of I kind of just hold back a wee bit. But Saturday, I'm pretty confident we can win that and win it well.
But
with a
they've
good
been to
performance.
be
The place is going to be bouncing,
Aye, it is.
isn't it?
Sold out.
I think the atmosphere is going to be absolutely electric on Saturday.
to be fair, they've been playing well, Hearts, and that's how we know we'll be in a game.
No, they've been getting a lot of good results. They've not been playing great stuff.
No.
See Shanklin, without Shanklin, I'm not so sure they would be on that run. He is obviously the main man. The goals he's come up with, So about Shankland. So as we take care of Shankland, we nullify them. Honestly, if you were to go and watch a lot of their games, and I talk to a lot of the boys, sometimes I work with them, they've not been playing brilliant stuff. They've been playing well.
They've just got a bit of form about them. They now.
To win games gives you confidence, of course it does. But us at home,
they'll still think they can come to us. They'll still think they can come. Aye, they'll think they can come and get something out of it.
By the way, and Celtic's not got an easy game.
No, on Sunday.
Up at Motherwell.
And if we win on Saturday, we win on Saturday, that puts more pressure on them for Sunday.
The thing for me is everybody was talking about the main talk was about Shankland coming in January, right? Don't think the manager fancies them or we couldn't afford them. Is the honest answer.
What one do you think?
The thing for me is Shankland is playing in a Hearts team where teams come out and have a go at Hearts, right? So he can get in behind. He's not the quickest, right? And we spoke about this off air. The boy Dessers gets his cell into decent positions, but he always wants to beat the keeper, put the keeper on his backside and then try and score the goal. As if Shankland just hits it. I don't know if Shankland is playing against a team that's got 11 men behind the ball that he would get the amount of goals that he has with Hearts.
I don't agree with you. The reason I don't agree with you is he scored 2 against Celtic this season and 1 against Rangers.
Scores all sorts of goals, Shankland's a good player, good age.
Rangers and Celtic are coming out and having a goal, so he's got the space in behind.
Well,
the difference is if you're playing against a team, that's how let's not kid ourselves. That's how we've done so well in Europe. Teams are going. That's a Scottish team. Let's get in about them. Just digressing quickly. Right,
that's another good point.
I know.
Right, digressing quickly. We were playing
away from him there.
We were playing the mob Midtjylland and we were in a sports complex, right? So we're sitting with the assistant manager and we're like, listen, we can't afford any more trips. So tell you what, put 11 men behind the ball, you'll beat us. Just hit us in the break, right? This guy's like that. You're off your nut, right? And I'm like, I'm telling you. So what did they do? They come out and they go for us, didn't they? We ended up winning 4-2. Sitting there going, tell you. You know what I mean? Tell you.
But we've learned from that last game with Shankland peeling on to be Ridvan. So maybe Barisic starts. I don't know with that situation.
No, he'll have noticed that.
But we've learned, and it's a learning curve, and that's what the manager says all the time.
Yeah. To come back after going the goal down against them the last time showed that we were turning the corner, because with other managers we wouldn't have came back. Because Hearts would have just went 1-0 up, thank you, and we couldn't do it.
It's a good point. The character, you need that. But we're a better team and a better player.
Aye, definitely.
But we've got a harder one coming up after that.
Kilmarnock away. Next Wednesday night, isn't it?
It's the pitch makes that harder, but the manager gave a good few players game time on Monday against Carlisle. I think Davies was playing, Balogun came in, looks fit again, playing with a mask. Raskin came in, Boy King was playing at right back. Robbie Fraser, who I like, he was playing left back. You know, he's gained these players a wee bit of game time so that he knows. The only thing for me, as you quite rightfully said there, is it's the pitching Wednesday, because it becomes a different game.
Aye. Also, I would add into that, it's the manager. I think McKinnon's a good manager.
He is.
And he sets his teams up very well. Yeah. By the way, they'll sit in. They're not going to come at us. They'll have the game plan and try and hit us in the break, because they've got the players to hurt us.
It works.
You know, further up the park. Aye. So we've got to be cute and clever.
Is it Brothy, isn't it? Is he with him?
No.
Who's the big boy up front?
Who's the big? The boy they got for Aberdeen.
Aye. He's a good one. And he's strong.
Aye, they've got a good squad. They've got guys as well that can come off the bench. But what I'm talking, you're right about the part. But he's a good manager. He knows how to set up against teams. He done it at the weekend against Celtic. But they had Mary a go against Celtic, and I thought he was going to have.
See when we're talking about the part there.
Sorry, just quickly. But if you watch their game, not that I watched it, but they go man for man with Celtic. So there was a time when I can't remember who it was in the boy Vassell was back marking one of the players, one of Celtic centre halves. He went man for man. And then at the end, wee bit of injection of pace. The crowd started to turn on Celtic with it being 1-0, stadium's emptying. That's
push.
But he went man for man, and I think sometimes, and we've known it in the past, if you go man for man with the boy McGregor, they don't really play.
No, he doesn't like it. And
He doesn't like it.
He does that quite a lot, McInnes.
But I think, well, that's how you should success against them. But if you read some of the journalists, that's what they say. They've said, if anybody goes on McGregor and stops him playing Celtic, they're nothing.
But they're massive games, aren't they? We can,
two big games.
We can navigate ourselves through the 2 games. Oh, I tell you what, in a right good place.
Oh, definitely.
With these games that come up, April the 7th.
And see,
April the 7th keeps popping up in your mind, doesn't it? You don't even want to talk
Okay,
about
you get a word
but,
then.
but we can't keep getting back to if, right? But being honest, the 2 Old Firm games so far this season, we should never have lost.
Oh, we should have took some. Even
Parkhead and Ibrox, we should never have lost the 2 games. Never.
There he's just touching on Deserts, yeah.
That's a whole different show.
Right, so
Let's go. Right, folks, just so you know, I think in a couple of weeks' time, Stan,
you're not
right?
reading all these sponsors.
No,
out again, are you?
right,
That's
listen.
what took up half the show.
In a couple of weeks' time, I don't think we'll be back on the Thursday night, am I right? Because we're in Europe. 2 weeks.
We'll need to be a Wednesday.
So it'll need to be a Wednesday night. So just to bear that in mind, folks. So thanks
What
for
we'll
joining
do
us.
Well, what we'll do is we'll see who our sponsors are. That'll be finished after an hour.
Aye.
We'll get Big Ian.
We'll book
and
the
Fergie
studio
on
for
again,
2
and
hours.
We'll be here till about 10:30.
Yeah. Mind, subscribe to our show, folks. Thanks for tuning in and watching. It's been a privilege and a pleasure. Thanks, Derek Ferguson and Ian Martin for coming on and supporting the podcast and showing giving our viewers something to talk about tonight.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you.